In this video, we're going to look at 4 different ways to add gain with the HX effects. Hey guys, this is Doctor McFarland and welcome back to the channel. What we have here before us today is the Line 6 HX effects. And what I love about this unit is it has all the effects that Line 6 has ever created, and they're constantly adding more with future updates as well. And so I kind of treat this as my traditional pedal board because I don't have to have individual pedals. I can pretty much call up any sound I want within this unit. And then the Quilter Interblock 45 is acting as my amplifier. Now, one thing to take note is I do have an impulse response at the very end of the chain, and that is coincidentally going into the effects loop of the amp. So what's essentially happening is I'm using the balanced line out of the amplifier going straight into the Zoom Q8 camcorder right here that I'm using to record this video with. So therefore what you're hearing is an actual amp and an IR, which this happens to be, I think, a Marshall 1960s cab with the 57 on it. And this is what that sounds like. Okay, if I didn't have the IR in there, this is also what it would sound like. Alright, it's not bad, but once you start adding gain to the Quilter Interblock, this is what happens. And this is what happens when you put the impulse response back into the signal chain. Alright, so it instantly sounds like it should. Any kind of clean tone you get from the Quilter is going to sound decent without an impulse response, but any kind of gain, you want to actually have an impulse response in there. So, with all that said, I just want to make sure you understood what that was. What I have here is a Deranged Master, which is a treble booster kind of pedal. I have a Scream 808, which is your tube screamer, your Monitor, which is a Klon, and then I actually have a Kali Q Graphic EQ pedal, which that has 80 Hz, 240, 750, 2200, and 6600 Hertz. All right. And what I'm actually doing is I'm using it to boost a level, and I can go in and adjust the EQ a little bit if I wanted to. I'm mainly just using it as a level boost. So what I want to do first is just go through each sound and see what they sound like individually, just going straight into the amp. And then I'm going to turn on the compulsive drive. And what this is going to act as is pretty much like a second channel of an amplifier, because it does have a pretty good gain structure to it, and it sounds really good. It's pretty much your full tone OCD pedal, just in digital form. So what we're going to do is turn this on, and then we're going to boost the compulsive drive with each one of these other gain options and see how it responds. So here's once again the clean tone. I am using the bridge pickup of my Reverend Sensei RA FM. And here's the Deranged Master all by itself going right into the Quilter. Alright, so it's definitely boosting the treble. Here's the Scream 808. Alright, that's a darker sound, but it's also more mid-rangey. And then here's the Monitor. Alright, that one's not as dark, but it's boosting the mids in a different frequency. Then here's the Kali Q Graphic. Let's see what happens here. There's quiet, and then it's boosting the front end. Alright. Here's the sound of the compulsive drive all by itself. Alright, now we do have a few options to change the version that we're using. Let's see what version 2 sounds like. Alright, that one's a little bit brighter. Version 4 is a little bit darker. And then we can change the peak value from low to high. Alright, so we're going to keep it at that. And you can see that I have the gain down pretty low. It's only set at about just about 1.5. Okay. All right, so here's the compulsive drive with the deranged master going in front. Off. Alright, it's adding a lot of treble into the front end, which I'm not too fond of, but we can actually turn the treble down. Let's see what happens if we do that. Alright, so here's the compulsive by itself again. And the deranged master. Alright, cool. Here's the Scream 808. We can do something a little bit different here as well. We can turn the gain down and we can turn the level up. Let's see what happens now. Off. Alright, so you can hear that the volume does not go up tons. It just kind of changes the overall gain structure and adds a little bit of mid-range frequencies to the overall sound. Because the compulsive drive is kind of lacking in the mid-range a little bit, adding in a tube screamer really helps fill in those mid-range frequencies. So here it is again. And Scream 808. Alright, cool. Here's the monitor. Alright, with it off. With it on. Alright, let's do the same thing with the monitor. Let's bring down the gain and turn up the level a little bit. Here's with it off. And with it on. Alright, cool. Here is the Cali graphic. So here's the compulsive drive without the Cali EQ on. And here it is with it on. Now, what we can do, if we want to lower some of that 240, maybe we want to boost some 2200 hertz by a few dB. Let's see what happens now. Here's with it off. And on. So any kind of EQ pedal is going to be very, very powerful because you can juice the front end of a pedal or amp with the simple volume boost. And you can also kind of tailor or shape the overall tone by adjusting the different frequency bands, just like I did here a second ago. So, pretty cool stuff. Let's see what happens if we take down some 6600 hertz, just a little bit. So with it off, and with it on. Alright guys, there you go. Kind of pick out some overdrive pedals that you like to use as a boost and kind of experiment by putting them before an amp or an overdrive and maybe after an overdrive or even in the effects loop of the amp and see what that does. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe down below and click the bell icon so you'll be notified every time I release new content. And be sure to click on the link down in the description. That's so you can sign up for a mailing list, and what I'll do is I'll send you my top 8 tone tips that you can follow every single day when using your gear so you can get the best out of your gear. So I am Dr. McFarland. I will see you in the next video. Keep rocking.
So why do people call me Dr. McFarland? Because I heal people with sweet rock and roll.